Let's get into this discussion now. Scores of Soweto taxi commuters were left stranded in the cold this morning. The Witwatersrand African Taxi Association owners announcing a 3-day stay away over routes disputes and the impounding of their vehicles. Let's understand where this stems from now. And we are talking to Santaco Gauteng chairperson Midday Mali. Mr. Mali, good evening to you and thank you very much for your time. A 3-day stay away has been declared. Why?
Good evening to you and the listeners and the viewers at home. Well, I would say it's not really that we are on a stay away as an industry here in Gauteng. The issue started on Friday when the law enforcement came and impounded the vehicles. That is the main problem that we are facing. We wanted and we are still trying to get the reasons behind that, because we had an agreement with the two associations as the provincial leadership that they requested the MEC of Transport in Gauteng that not to close routes, but there were submissions that were supposed to be done that has their challenges that they are facing as an industry. But eventually on Friday, we only found and get the reports that vehicles were impounded on Friday, Saturday and Sunday till today. Hence we found that our commuters were left with no choice but to struggle at the end of the day. So that is the main reason that we so far gathered from the two associations. But one of our associations did not opt for strike, but they were waiting for the process to unfold from the side of the government. Obviously, what is a problem is a conflict that the two associations are facing, the route conflict. Obviously, it needs to be attended by the Department of Transport, because all the routes are issued by the Department of Transport. Once there is a duplications, once there are issues around the issuing of the routes, it creates conflict. That is the status that we are at the moment.
Yeah. All right. So it's clear then that the issue here is a dispute over routes. Now, how you deal with that as a taxi industry is not through violence, Mr. Mali. There are pictures all over social media of a person who is slouched over in a car seat with bullet wounds all over, and there were strong suggestions that this is part of a taxi dispute. Why is it that the taxi industry resorts to violence so easily?
Well, we normally as the leadership tell the associations we really condemn at all possible terms in terms of the violence. We always tell the leadership of the associations and the members that the best way of resolving a conflict is to get around the table, get the facts, and identify which side is responsible for the conflict. Here we can simply say we make all the means to sit, and the regional chairpersons and the executive of the two associations, they've met and find out that some of the conflicts are caused by some of the officials within the department. Now we are simply saying our people, we are saying to them no to the violence, because the violence doesn't bear any fruits. Instead, it creates more problem. It creates the situation not to be handled easily or to deal with. But we are saying as the leadership here in Gauteng that we really condemn the violence of the killing of the people, killing of the drivers, damaging of the properties of other members during the process of a conflict. But the issue is we want our members to comply and lodge their complaints, because we have a Department of Transport to deal with those issues if they are route related to.
Based on your information, how many people would you say have been killed over this dispute?
Well, what I would not confirm for now is the numbers, but it's quite a huge number of the people who lost their lives up until since this conflict has started. And this conflict has not started sometimes this year, last year. It has a number of years, as way back as, if I may just think, is more than 10 years or closer to 10 years. So that conflict, it has been ongoing on. We really wish that when the department comes into this conflict, can resolve it for once and for all, so that they can dig deep as the department and check that what are the issues related to the conflict. Is the department affected with this conflict? If yes, let the government deal with these issues, because it really costs lives of the innocent on the ground.
You make a worrying allegation that some of the officials within the transport department are partly to blame. What is it that they are doing? And would you possibly have names for the MEC to say these are the people that are actually part of the reason why the taxi industry is in conflict in Gauteng?
Well, what I would say, not to say the names at the moment, but what I would say what creates a conflict within the taxi industry or the two associations is that if you can issue two routes, same route to a different association, that's a source of a conflict on its own. Those things, the issuing of routes, we apply as the associations, the routes are granted to an association. But it's surprisingly into our province on these days, or the past few days, we may find out the conflict that is escalating within the region or the associations is the issue of the routes at 90%. So therefore, why I'm saying the department or the officials, they need to do verification, they need to do inspection logo. Before issuing a route, they need to check into their system. Is the route that applied by one association not already given to another association or allocated a certain association? So therefore, once the routes get allocated, being the two routes on the same route, it's a source of a conflict on its own.
Why is it that two associations cannot operate in the same route?
Look, the two associations, they cannot operate easily because each and every association is guided or protected by its laws or the bylaws of the policy laws of the association. How do you do operation? How do you work? They may not be easy, but it needs the intervention of a government to say the routes we are not talking about one route. We are talking different routes within the association that are located the association. It will become difficult because remember, each and every route, it has its own route managers, it has its own operators that are operating on the route. Obviously, when we operate one route in a different association, that is a conflict on its own.
Final question to you, Mr. Mali. The commuters are your most important stakeholder here. For how long are they going to be subjected to a stairway?
Firstly, let me start apologize to our commuters because they are suffering out of this conflict. And we are, as a leadership of the province, the leadership of the region, from Johannesburg, the two associations, we are really working very hard to find a solution towards to these challenges that the two associations are facing at the moment. We also want maybe to urge to our government to come to party fast and quick so that we can try to resolve this issue of a conflict within the two associations.
Midday Mali, let me thank you very much for your time. He is Santaco's Gauteng chairperson. And so that stairway, unclear at this stage as to when this matter may be resolved. We'll try and get the Gauteng transport authorities to talk to us.